I always look forward to being here. You know, this is our home church. Bishop is our home church for my wife and myself. I want us to go back to Exodus chapter 15. And before I carry on reading there, I want you to understand that I recognize and I have personally experienced bitter waters. Have any of you experienced bitter waters? You know, you put your savings aside, you work hard for that, and then when you get to the end and you're relying on your policies to pay out, somebody's been fraudulent, they've taken your money and you've got no money. How do you feel about that? How many people don't find themselves in that situation? Or some of you might feel that, you know, you want work, but you can't work because the Sabbath seems to be in the way. And it's like bitter waters. You don't know if you should keep the Sabbath or if you should leave it because you can't get work. It's like bitter waters, isn't it? Sometimes it can be things that you don't expect. Now, to start us off, you've got your hands there in Exodus chapter 15, haven't you? Now, go with me to Ecclesiastes. Now, Ecclesiastes is found after the book of Proverbs. And I want you to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Now, Solomon, after testing out what life is all about, you know, he concluded that meaningless, everything is meaningless. Can you imagine that? How many of you feel like that? That everything is meaningless. You know, it just seems like you try your best to get out of something, you just can't get out of it. You know, and Solomon, if you are feeling depressed, I do not advise that you read Ecclesiastes. Okay, because it's going to make you feel more depressed. But yet, Solomon is trying to let us understand something. You know, sometimes we look at people, they don't even serve God, they don't even talk about God, and yet they seem to be blessed. Isn't that true? They've got work, they've got money, they've got houses, they've got everything, and here we are, and because we're serving God, somehow it seems that we're just not blessed. I want to read Ecclesiastes chapter 9, and I'm going to read from verse 11. Solomon says this: I've seen something else under the sun. Now it's amazing, he's been talking about a whole lot of things, but he says, I've seen something else under the sun. Something else that's happening under the sun. The race is not to the swift, or the battle to the strong. Nor does food come to the wise, or wealth to the brilliant, or favor to the learned. But time and chance happen to them all. Did you hear that? Time and chance happens to them all. Now I want you to look at this as we go on. First of all, what he's saying there is that good things and bad things happens to everybody. Okay, it's not just the good people that are suffering or the bad people that are benefiting. No. There are a lot of bad people suffering. And there's a lot of good people being blessed. But what you need to know, and what the point is I want you to understand today, is that time and chance, opportunities and hardships come to everybody. Everybody can experience blessings, and everybody can experience curses. It happens to everybody. Then he says this: moreover, no man knows when his hour will come. Hour of what? Hour of blessing or hour of trial. Do you understand that? You don't know. It's all of a sudden like some people say, but you're just lucky, you got born with a silver spoon in your mouth. I kind of figure out why silver spoon. Maybe it should be a golden spoon, eh? But somehow you just seem to be blessed. Everything you touch turns to gold, But it's not like that. Some people, I remember reading about Solomon. Do you remember when Solomon was a young man, God approached him? And God said to him, I'm giving you one wish. What will you wish for? And I guess if God gave me one wish, I will learn from Solomon's wish, and I'll wish what Solomon wished. Isn't that true? Yes. Why? Because in the end he was rich also. You see, sometimes we want to be rich. And we wish for wealth. And you know that God sometimes gives us wealth. And in actual fact, most times gives us wealth. But you know what the problem is? We haven't got the wisdom to work with it. And so we lose it. Did you hear that? What Solomon asked for was wisdom to know what was right and what was wrong. Now remember, good things and bad things happens to everybody, not just to Solomon. God does come to you with blessings, but I'm going to show you something about his blessings just now. Then it says further in verse 12, as fish are caught in a cruel net, or birds are taken in a snare, so men are trapped by evil times that fall unexpectedly upon them. Is this all clear? Bad things and good things happen to everybody, but I want you to understand that the bad thing is actually a good thing, that you just don't know that it's good, even though it's bad. I want you to go with me to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 19. O people of Zion. I wonder who's talking to there. Are you people of Zion? Are you people of Zion? Yes, you're people of Zion. You're on your way to Zion, aren't you? Oh, people of Zion, who live in Jerusalem, okay, who live in Fishhook, you will weep no more. Did you hear that? When are you going to weep no more? In heaven? Well, we know that in heaven we're going to weep no more. But is it possible that on earth you can weep no more? No. Although the Lord gives you, O people of Zion who live in Jerusalem, you will weep no more. How gracious he will be when you cry for help. Who's the he there? How gracious God will be when you cry for help. Dear friends, I want you to understand something. In Isaiah chapter 8, God says, when you're in trouble, why do you go to people who mutter and people who splutter? People who have got no clue as to the solutions. I'm amazed. The world is upside down, isn't it true? The polar caps are melting. There are earthquakes. There are pestilence. There are wars. There are rumors of wars. And everybody is running to the brain thrust of the world. They're running to the people that they think have got solutions. But Isaiah chapter 8 says, why do you run to them? Should the people of Zion not run to their God? We need to understand that God is there and He's available and He's there to help you. I'm going to show you something. He says here, how gracious He will be when you cry for help. As soon as God hears, He will answer you. Have any of you experienced that? Or do most of you, when you pray, find that your prayers hit the ceiling and that's that? Somehow God hasn't heard your prayer. And I know all of you sitting here say, no, that never happens to me. No, it happens to everybody, doesn't it? I just found out that good things and bad things happens to everybody. I want you to listen further. It then says in verse 20, As soon as he hears, although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity. What? Did you hear that? Although the Lord gives you the what? Bread of what? Adversity. What's adversity? Trouble, resistance, kind of like wearing shoes that weigh 10 kilograms each. It's kind of drudgery, it's kind of difficult. You struggle to walk on the road. Although the Lord gives you the bread of adversity, resistance, and then it doesn't stop there, and the water of what? Affliction. I mean, who wants water of affliction and who wants bread of adversity? Put your hands up. Why do you want it? The interesting thing, dear friends, I just told you that bad things and good things happens to everybody. And when you're in trouble and you cry out to God, something incredible happens. The bad thing becomes a good thing. But if you don't cry to God, the bad thing remains a bad thing. You're going to see it. It says there, with your own eyes you will see them. The bread of affliction and the water of adversity are your schoolmasters. The bread of adversity and the water of affliction are your schoolmasters. Did you hear that? They're your schoolmasters. They're your teachers. Then it says there, whether you turn to the right, this is verse 21, or to the left, your ears will hear a voice saying to you, behind you, walk this way. Now you might wonder why this is so important. But dear friends, the Bible teaches me that things are really about to get extremely worse than what they are now. Did you hear that? You think it's bad already? This is nothing in comparison to what's lying ahead. Really, nothing compared. And I'm worried about that. Because when I look at God's people, those who are on the road to Zion, a lot of people are trembling. A lot of people have their hands on their stomachs and they're wondering, how will we survive this? Some of you are even under that. You seem to be burdened with the problems of health. Your life is at stake. Some of you are burdened with loss. Some of you are burdened with all kinds of things. And if you think this is bad, it's nothing in comparison to what is lying ahead. Are you scared yet? In actual fact, your worst nightmare, the nightmare that wakes you up, sweating, heart beating, is nothing in comparison to the reality of what is lying ahead of you. And if you can't handle it, how in the world is the world going to handle it? Because it's really going to happen. There's a time of tribulation coming on this world that has never ever been experienced before in the history of this world. And already we are starting to experience certain things of it. If you want to know more about it, be here this afternoon. But I don't want to leave you thinking that it's a matter of despair now and that you cry out, woe is me. No. You are living in the most exciting time. I want you to go back to Exodus 15. Notice that the people had been led out of Egypt, out of bondage. They were suffering for almost 400 years. They had been in slavery. In actual fact, The Egyptians made it so difficult for them. They increased the workload so that in some way they would kill their spirits. That they would destroy their desire to live. And you know, one of the things that's amazing to me, a person who hasn't got a desire to live anymore, a person who sees the future extremely black, does not consider having children. Did you know that? If you really believe that the future is bad, then it'll be bad news for you to bring a child into this world. I mean, no wonder Greta is really complaining. You know who Greta is? That young lady from Switzerland, is it? Where's she from? From Sweden? Oh, I said Switzerland, Sweden, same thing. What's she complaining about? That the way we as adults are handling the world, the way we as leaders are handling the world, there's going to be nothing left for the future generation. And she's upset with us. And when I look at this and I listen to what she has to say, and you know that they considered giving her the Nobel Prize. Isn't it amazing? And yet, I look at it and I'm thinking to myself, all she's doing is telling us what we already know. We've messed up. And their cries and their solutions are, stop doing what you're doing. But I've got bad news. The Bible makes it very clear that there are going to be wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes, pestilences, famines in diverse places, and that is just the beginning of birth pains. In actual fact, when you as people of Zion see these things happening, you should be lifting up your heads. Why? Because your redemption is drawing closer. You see, dear friends, these things that are happening around us is clear signs that Jesus is coming soon. There is no solution to the problems we have. But it still doesn't exempt us from being here. It means we are going to experience, and I just heard that if an earthquake happens in Fishhook, it happens to the good people and bad people. If poverty comes to Fishhook, it happens to rich people and poor people. Don't think that the rich will be exempted. I want to tell you, there is nothing that people have done. I hear people say to me, you know, it's time for us to put money away. We should actually go and get ourselves caves, and we should put food into the caves, and we should do all kinds of things. I want to tell you something, dear friends. That food and all that provision that you're making to try and handle the end of time is not the solution to the way in which you should handle the end of time. What everybody, people's telling you, you know, the most amazing thing, just recently, it's on my cell phone, I get a lot of WhatsApp. You know what WhatsApp is, eh? WhatsApp. You know what it is. It tells you what's up. It tells you what's going on in the world. It tells you what people are thinking. And somebody sent me, and I get this often, I don't know if you get them, but I've got a very interesting piece of paper. Well, photograph of a piece of paper, and on the paper it said, please send this to everyone. Tell everybody about this, because this will be life-changing. Are any of you sick here? We've got one sick person. Okay, only one sick person. You're also sick. Okay, he's also sick. So there's two sick people. Okay, this is only for you. The rest of you can go to sleep. Now, I want you to understand something. That when I look at the situation here and I look at what's going on, people are worried about what's going on. They are sick. They're concerned. I got this piece of paper. Dear friends, I've been asking you to pray for me. And I'm asking you to continue to pray for me. God willing, January next year, my son is hoping to visit with me. And when my son is here, I'm going to give you a personal testimony. But I'm asking you to pray for me now. You see, because I'm also drinking at the Rivers of Marah. And when you receive all kinds of things, you read there, no, it's all about warm water. Not cold water, please. Cold water is bad for you. Warm water. Not hot water. Warm water. They have concluded, this is the Japanese, they've concluded that if you drink warm water on a regular basis every day, starting your day off, it's probable that if you've got things like hypertension, headaches, blood pressure problems, even cancer, that you'll be cured. Did you understand? Did you hear what I just said?
Yeah.
And you know how many people who've got high blood pressure, who've got concerns that they read about there, think, okay, now I must drink warm water. Now there's a reason why I'm bringing this out. Who have you gone to for help? I'm not saying that warm water is not good for you. But warm water cannot do what God can do. We're at the Rivers of Marah. These people are on their journey to the promised land. Did you hear that? And you are on your journey to the promised land. But while going, the sad part is that you're going to go through the desert. Did you hear that? Most of us expect that we all suddenly end up in paradise. But it's not, dear friends. I want to tell you that out of Egypt you go straight to the desert. And you're going to walk for a few days in the desert. And there's a reason why you're going to go to the desert. Because you need to go to the desert in order to get to the promised land. And they were only 3 days in the desert of Shur. 3 days. And they became extremely thirsty in 3 days. Now, dear friends, you know, the most amazing thing is when you open your tap and there is no water, it's uncanny how thirsty you become. But when you open your tap and there's lots of water, somehow you don't seem to be thirsty. These people were thirsty for 3 days. They arrive, they see palm trees, they see everything that is signs of water. They get to the water, they're excited, and as they lap to take the water and to drink what they've been hungering for or thirsty for, they find to their shock it is bitter. Did you hear that? Dear friends, a lot of the things that you're looking at that you think is going to be the solutions to your problem is going to end up bitter. Did you hear me? You are in the desert and you're hoping for some kind of relief, and the relief that is going to be extended to you is in actual fact going to turn out to make you bitter. And in that very moment, you're going to do one of two things. Now the first one, or the first thing you're going to do, which I call the locust syndrome. You know what locusts do? They follow one another. When one's endorphins start going, whoa, whoa, what do the rest of them do? They all get into a frenzy, and next minute you have a swarm of locusts that cause havoc. I've seen people who start off with a small, peaceful riot, and in the end somehow somebody starts stirring, and next minute you see windows breaking, you see looting taking place, cars being burnt, and you wonder to yourself, how in the world did that happen? And I want to tell you this, most of the people that was in that group were supposed to be there because they were fighting for something that was supposed to be of benefit to everybody else, but they end up causing incredible pain. Is it possible that we, who are on our way to Zion, when things start going south here, will we react like that? You know, you might say, no, I will never do that. But I want you to understand, I have found myself in a grocery store, like Checkers. You know what Checkers is, hey? You can go and buy stuff there. Now, especially